It's day 65 of the Biden presidency, and Joe Biden is already preparing for his second multi-trillion-dollar legislative push. He made it clear yesterday that his priority to help the American economy now is infrastructure. The president teased an announcement that is expected next week on what this next massive plan will include. Listen.
It's the place where we will be able to significantly increase American productivity, at the same time providing really good jobs for people. But we can't build back to what they used to be.
CNN's Christine Romans has more on what could be in the plan.
Kate, the next big priority for this White House is building stuff, a lot of stuff. Roads, bridges, rails, ports, investing in domestic manufacturing and technology as well, EV charging stations, the 5G cellular network, and America's cyber defenses. The president vowing to put Americans to work and making the U.S. more competitive with China. It's a campaign promise. Biden vowed infrastructure investments could create 5 million new jobs and bring back the pandemic jobs lost. Now, the economy, as you know, still down 9.5 million jobs since February last year. Infrastructure is the first piece. The second, quality of life, universal pre-K, free community college, making the child tax credit permanent, and paid family leave. The Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg making the case on the Hill Thursday for green energy investments, since transportation is a leading driver of climate change. Congressional Republicans warning the White House, keep the focus on roads and bridges, not climate change and social justice. Also on the table, higher taxes for companies and the rich to pay for this Biden agenda, foreshadowing the political battle ahead. The White House working out these details to unveil next week. Kate in Pittsburgh.
Christine, thank you very much. Joining me right now from the White House is President Biden's top economist, Cecilia Rouse. She's the chair of the Council of Economic Advisors. Thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure.
As Christine laid out and the president made clear, infrastructure is his next priority. Our reporting is it could be maybe a $3 trillion package. Already, Mitch McConnell's responded to the prospect of it even as possibly a Trojan horse for massive tax hikes, is how he put it. What will, Cecilia, be the most important part of this package to convince people it's needed?
Well, look, the president's focus at the moment and right now has been on getting us past this pandemic and getting us out of the economic hole that the pandemic has caused. But as he stated on the campaign, it's not enough to just build back to where we were back a year ago, but we have to do better by this economy. We know that there are badly needed investments in our infrastructure, in R&D, in our workforce, so that this economy remains competitive and so that we increase productivity. And as he rightly said, so that we generate high value jobs, jobs that are good paying jobs. So that is the president, that is the focus of the next round of his focus and what we'll be working on.
In general, I'm kind of looking in terms of the recovery. I wonder where you put the marker of when you'll be comfortable that the labor market has fully recovered. When do you expect that to be?
Well, you know, the American Rescue Plan really helped accelerate all of the forecasts of when we will get back on track. And so now I expect that we will be at full employment sometime in 2022, maybe as early as the first quarter of 2022. But it's not just enough for us to get back to an average unemployment rate that is, you know, in the 3 or 4%. We also need to be ensuring that that unemployment rate is also coming down for our African American, for our Latinos, for our Native American populations. So we know we need to be dealing with our structural inequalities as well. But, you know, I do fully expect that, you know, sometime next year, this economy will be humming along.
And one very unexpected new threat to economies across the world, including ours, is now this massive ship that is stuck in the Suez Canal. I mean, not only is it amazing to look at, but it's also very serious in terms of the threat that it can pose. How worried are you about it impacting the U.S. economy and recovery?
Well, I think what this reflects is this economy is not yet back, that we are still in a hole. As you pointed out, the topper, that 9.5 million jobs, we'll get a new report next week, have been lost over the course of last year. And we still have a pandemic. You know, the president is still focused. He has a new goal of 200 million shots after 100 days. So we know we still have work to do on the pandemic. And until we get to the other side, the economy will be fragile. this ship is highlighting how connected we are, how hiccups in our global economy and our supply chain can have ripple effects throughout economies around the world. So we're concerned about it, we're watching it, and I think it just highlights again how important the American Rescue Plan was, how our families needed the additional income with the checks, how the support for children through the child tax credit and the expansions, child care, opening schools so that women can get back to work in particular, that we need to be bolstering our own economy because we're not quite there yet.
I actually wanted to ask you about one aspect of the COVID relief package that I have been really fascinated by, which is the child tax credit. You've got up to $3,600 per child under the age of 6, slightly less, but still an increase for kids than that number for kids older than 6. And even families without an income will receive a tax credit. One poverty expert, Cecilia, told me that this will be transformative in reducing child poverty. How and when, though, will you know if it worked?
Well, that's an interesting question. So yes, the group of researchers at Columbia University have estimated that 5 million fewer children will be living in poverty as a result of the package of support we've given through the American Rescue Plan. The way that the poverty numbers are collected, they are lagged by a year. But I think we will be able to see it in families being able to put food on the table, being able to pay rent, children having clothes to wear, and thriving in school. So I think we will see it on the day-to-day much more quickly than we'll see it in the official poverty statistics.
When will families see this money? Have they started to see this money yet?
Oh, absolutely. I think that we've already sent out 100 million checks. And so the checks are already arriving. And on the child tax credit, the Treasury Department is working out a way for it to be paid on a regular basis so that families don't have to wait until the end of the tax season next year in order to see that relief.
Yeah, that was what I was curious about, how that would work with the tax credit. Do you think, in your view, do you think that this should become permanent, the child tax credit, or do you think that it should just be part of an emergency economic recovery effort for the country in this moment that we are in right now?
Well, look, child poverty is, reducing child poverty is part of investing in our society. We know that children who grow up in poverty are more likely to be held back in school. They're less likely to graduate from high school. They're more likely to be teen parents. And so we know that investing in child care, kids who are in poverty are less healthy. So yes, we believe that this is a transformational investment in our kids. The president has said he would like to make it permanent. He would like to see it permanent and wants to work with Congress. There are many ways to do so, but would like to work with Congress to see that happen.
More broadly, kind of on the approach of the White House to the economic recovery, Larry Summers is speaking out again, and he really criticized the macro impact of this economic policy, saying that he thinks that this is the least responsible macroeconomic policies that we have had in the last 40 years. Does that assessment from Larry Summers give you pause about potentially spending and borrowing trillions more?
Well, look, Larry Summers is concerned about the American Rescue Plan in particular, and is concerned that it is larger than what was necessary to address the economic shortfall right now. Larry is someone that his concerns that he has raised are concerns. We are aware of them. We assess the problem differently. We see that there is potential risk for inflation, but the risk of doing too little in terms of generating economic scarring, having families that can't put food on the table, the impacts for children, which we just discussed, was far greater than the potential impact on inflation. Importantly, the Federal Reserve has the tools to address inflation should it occur. And we have full faith and confidence in their ability to address it should it actually happen.
Cecilia Rouse, thank you for taking the time. Thanks for coming on the show.
You're very welcome. Thank you.